Hello everybody, and welcome to my Tiki Barracks 3.0 video. Now it's been a real fun journey, seeing how far my barracks have come since the day the game launched, all the way up to my very first barracks video. And even to now, with my latest entry. So, as many of you probably already know, and something I was surprisingly greeted to through a whole bunch of messages, I'm glad I actually still checked those, is that Tiki Mystery is getting a resplendent version. Something I am very excited about, but also something I am not quite ready for. So, I say that because I have actually had this video ready and waiting to be made, because I've been wanting to update my barracks videos for a long time now, but I had some commissions planned to try and get a custom thumbnail going to put on for the video, because I knew a resplendent Tiki would eventually come. And the reason why that was so important to me is because once resplendent Tiki finally arrives, I will be signing up for Fay Pass. So I think that means I need to wait till half a week maybe, or at some point when the next resplendent gets released, and then I need to sign up and I can get Tiki. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but it was important to me because up until that eventual point, I have been free to play. I have never spent a single dime or penny on this game. So it was always been something I was very proud of, my accomplishment in my barracks. So the video was meant to be as a final hoorah to what I accomplished before I finally put money into the game. Though, I've been playing since the day the game launched, and that means I've gotten over 3 years worth of enjoyment out of it, which is plenty of value. Easily enough for me to justify spending the money on a Fay Pass, when not even console or PC games can hold my entertainment for that long. Though that is just for me personally. I know some people still can't really justify it, but I think I've gotten my money's worth. Now, for those of you who don't really know, Tiki is my favorite character of all time, and she has been since I was 4 years old. I am 25 now, and a little over 3 months away from turning 26. So, very soon, she will have been my favorite character of all time for 22 years. That's just something that is really amazing to me. And because of that, when Fire Emblem Heroes first came out and was released, I immediately knew that I wanted to dedicate to solely using Tiki and Tiki alone. So now we're going to get to the point of my barracks, where I'll start showing you all the Tikis I have obtained and built over that entire time frame. And the number, not including merges on Tikis, is currently 130 Tikis in my barracks. All of them are indeed 5-star, and it's something I'm very proud of. It means that over 2/3 of my barracks are made of Tiki alone. And it's just a very, very huge accomplishment to me. Because I know a lot of people talk about, oh, it's hard to plus 10 units when you don't pay. But I'd like to think that my barracks show where dedication can actually take you. Now, I'll go back to the homepage and start talking about the different Tikis individually, and you can see, or not necessarily see, but you can experience the journey with me of where I went with them and how much it took to get all of them to where they are at. So, starting off, let's look at Halloween Tiki. Now, I actually did my very first live stream for Faye, was me trying to summon for her, and it was a roller coaster. I went in with around 1,400 orbs. I don't remember the exact number, but I think it was like 1420 something. And I didn't get my first Halloween Tiki until 700 orbs in. It was really bad. But it had a very crazy turnaround. In those last 700, I ended up getting 6 Tikis. So, at plus 5? Oh no, it was 7 Tikis at plus 6. And then, after the stream ended, I only found out that Tempest Trial was going. I didn't even realize it was up at the time. So I went to Tempest Trial, and then I would build up enough orbs for a yellow summon, and then I would just single summon a blue. And every time I did, for 5 times in a row, completely single summoning, I got a Halloween Tiki. And it's just... I've seen screenshots of people who have gone 5 stars, a full circle of 5 stars, but that obviously didn't happen. But I'd like to think it's about the same case, almost. Because, yeah, it wasn't all in one circle, but it was 5 different single YOLO summons that gave me more than I actually needed to finally plus 10 her. And then before the banner ended, as you saw, I managed to get a few more. Something I was very, very happy about. Next, let's look at Summer Tiki Awakening. She was actually my very first plus 10 5-star. And it was definitely really amazing. I actually managed to plus 10 her on the first day the original Elysian Summer banner came out. And she took a little under 500 orbs. It's the only time I've ever gotten that lucky, but she carried me through a lot of stuff for the longest time, and I was always very proud and very happy to have gotten her. Now, that might seem like a very low number, especially compared to today, with how many orbs it takes, but back when the original Elysian Summer banner came out, the pool was nowhere near as enlarged or inflated as it is now, and green specifically had very few actual 5-star units, so that probably helped out drastically. But I did manage to plus 10 her, and I was extremely happy.
Too much swimming makes my...
Next up is Legendary Tiki. Legendary Tiki, she caught me off guard, if I remember correctly, because I think she came out after Summer Tiki Mystery came out, and I was still trying to recover from back then, when I tried to summon for her, which, that is a complete utter roller coaster in its own right, and we'll get to that when we reach her. But Legendary Tiki, she took me around 3 whole different banners of saving up to finally plus 10, and, well, if I remember correctly, my very first summoning video for summoning for her, it went pretty poorly. I think I had around 450-ish orbs. I would have to look back at the video because I don't remember the exact number, but I remember that I didn't get my first Legendary Tiki until I believe it was the last 30 orbs, and then I got one more afterwards. So I got her for plus 2, and it was a little bit of a soul-crushing moment, but at least when the other 2 banners came around, I had much better luck getting her, which was very nice. Next up, we have Tiki Awakening, the one who actually composes up most of my barracks because she can come out as a 3 or 4 star, though I've actually been struggling getting her recently because the pool is just so inflated. Now, fun note, Tiki Awakening, I got her as a 4 star on my very second summon in the game. Basically, yeah, so I'm pretty sure there was a tutorial where you got Viren, and then directly after Viren, you could summon, and then I think afterwards you could get a dagger unit, but I don't remember who the dagger unit was. But either way, she was the second unit I actually got, and I was very happy about that. And I've built her as best I could. Now, I definitely need to change the stance over to the Fortress Defense Res Seal, or actually, I don't know, that might... Well, no, I don't remember if that lowers her attack by 2 or 3. If it's only by 2, then yeah, I'll do that just to have the stats showing. That'll be worth it to me. But she is definitely a tank. Oh, I need to give her Dragon Hour too. But she's definitely an enemy phase built tank. But something that I was always very proud of. I remember some of my earliest clear videos was just throwing her in front of the enemy and watching them try to do any kind of damage and just seeing zeros all the time. So she definitely pulled her weight. Unfortunately, she isn't as useful per se, or not necessarily useful as potent as she used to be. And honestly, I feel like she probably needed the resplendent version more than Mystery did, because Mystery at high merges is an extremely potent and strong unit, but Awakening can't really say the exact same case to the degree that Mystery can. And I mean, I get there's a whole, I think 6 extra BST difference, but where Mystery is very well balanced and is a jack of all trades, which in some sense can actually kind of hurt her, she's not super, I guess, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but she's not super restricted to certain stats spread, is the best way I can put it. There's a word for it, but I can't quite think of it. So, I definitely hope she gets a resplendent soon, because she could definitely use one. And I guess speaking of resplendent, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Mystery's version. I was kind of hoping for the fairy or Asgard one, but I'm happy with it overall. The art looks amazing. Next up, we're looking at Solitary Tiki. Solitary Tiki, oh man, that was a roller coaster. Also, so I managed to freeze summon 3 of her with the tickets and the actual free summon when she initially came out, but then directly afterwards, as I was continuing to try and summon for her, I got 17 of the Quarrens in a row. Not necessarily in like a row, but like in a row of just obtaining 5-star units. I got 17 Quarrens directly one after the other in terms of 5 stars gained, before I saw any other Tiki or any just non-Quarren in general. And yeah, it was... oh. But I did manage to get her to plus 10, which was something I was very, very happy about. Let's see if I can't find, or... I don't think I showed the Quarrens. I'll show the Quarrens after. And then I'll also show the hero merit, so you can see when I say I only use Tiki, I mean I literally only use Tiki. But now is Summer Tiki Mystery. The Tiki who definitely gave me the hardest time trying to actually plus 10. So, when she came out, I didn't expect her at all, just because right beforehand, you know, they released the first summer banner, so the listing summer banner was up, and I was actually throwing more orbs on that banner because I just wanted more Summer Tiki Awakenings just to have in my barracks, because, you know, my barracks are Tiki Barracks. And when she was revealed, I was not ready. I only had around 500-ish orbs, and I only got 2 copies of her. And I remember at the time, the best one I had was Attack Boon Speed Bane. And so that definitely hurt her for a while. And I guess overall it worked out, because beforehand I had only had 3 Tikis, as there were only 3 at the time, and I was actually using Marth. Now, Marth basically never saw combat because his sole purpose was to sit there and use Ardent Sacrifice and heal up from both his Falchion and Renewal to keep healing the Tikis as they fought for him. And when she took over his spot, because then I had full 4 Tikis, she also kind of took over his role of basically being the team healer primarily. And even now to this day, even when she doesn't have any more Bane, and she has pretty good stat spread in my opinion, she still basically rarely ever sees combat. She's just primarily there to both heal and use her guidance to move people around easier. Especially when Legendary Tiki's on the team, because I just can't justify wasting the Seal slot using the boots. So Summer Tiki Mystery has to ferry around Legendary Tiki. And to explain for the summoning, so again, 500 on the first run, and then I remember she returned on a legendary banner, and it was also Flora and legendary Marth. And during that time frame, I had 1,243 orbs. I dumped every single orb into that banner, and it was just terrible. I came out with one Summer Tiki Mystery. I came out with her at the very end, and I ended up getting 7 Floras and 2 legendary Marts from all those orbs. I get that legendary bears are supposed to have higher rates, but I really feel like those are just cursed numbers at times. And so you can really tell the numbers are already being pushed there as is. And then there was one other occurrence, because she took 3 whole banners to plus 10 also. But the problem with her, in comparison to, say, somebody like Tiki Mystery or any of the legendary Tiki, is that since she's seasonal, you know, they kind of rotate around once a year, besides that one case of the legendary banner. But in the other summoning session, the last one it took me, I was actually trying to summon in the background of another YouTuber named Postmodern Serial. During his stream, I was actually in the chat summoning because they wanted to hear how it went, and I went in with around 1,250-ish orbs, and I didn't get her to plus 10. I remember I got her, I think I only needed 8, yeah, I only needed 8, and I only got 6, I believe. Technically 7, because I got a neutral IV one, but the thing is that, for me, before they introduced the IV fruits, I always liked collecting neutral IVs because I always thought that was the rarest IV set. Because to get a neutral, you had to have both your boon and bane on the exact same stat. So I always tried to collect those two, which was part of the reason why I would summon also on old Tiki banners instead of continually saving up for the newer Tikis. Though I still primarily save up all my orbs for the new Tikis, but that's, you get the idea. And then I got 7 of them, but only 6 usable for merges, which put her at plus 8. Now, luckily when I summoned, it was still very early on in the banner being there, and I was able to go through story and build up more orbs, and I did manage to plus 10 her. But overall, let's see, that was 1243 plus around 1250, and then another 500, so, you know, we're basically already right there, kind of pushing 3,000. And then, when she actually came back recently, during this past summer, and I just wanted a few extra copies of her, because I didn't really have copies of her in my barracks, I put in 600 orbs, and I didn't get a single one. Now, I know the pool is much more inflated now, and during that time, well, during any old banners rerun, it takes the entire pool into account, but that was pretty devastating to me. 600 whole orbs, and then come out with nothing. So, that was pretty bad too. Summer Tiki Mystery has just been all over the place for a roller coaster. But I finally got her there, and I'm very happy about it. And then lastly, Tiki Mystery, the OG. Fun fact, when I was talking about earlier how Tiki Awakening was my second summon ever in Fire Emblem Heroes at the tutorial, my very first summon ever was Tiki Mystery. And I was just so ecstatic about that. I was so happy when I pulled her, because she's my favorite character of all time. Like, this is the character I grew up with. And then, obviously directly afterwards, I got Tiki Awakening, and I was just over the moon at that point. But now, Tiki Mystery. Tiki Mystery, she took around 3 whole banners to plus 10. I remember that much. And I remember when I finally finished her, she was on a legendary banner. And I remember it was Sigurd who was also there because I got a couple of him, and I don't remember who the other red was, but I know I had that summoning video up still. And yeah, I'm very happy to have finally gotten her, and I'm happy she's getting a resplendent. I look forward to the bonus that she gets. And she's used always on my team. Like, I don't think I'll ever take her off the team. No matter how bad she may get in the future in comparison to newer units, this is the character I grew up with. So, it's just something I'm very happy about. And now, to give an idea of when I said I only use Tiki, and literally only use Tiki in the game, let me go over and look at my hero merit. Where is that? I think that's under Interact with Allies? Yes. Okay, now, before anybody starts saying, hey, your Howling Tiki isn't fully hero merited yet, not a true Tiki fan, I was getting there. I primarily, like, log in and maybe do 1 or 2 quests for the daily, and then that's essentially it. So, primarily, most of her hero merit comes from doing things like Tempest Trial that's currently up. And so, I was trying to get her to the max before I had to make this video also, but the Resplendent Tiki kind of just surprised me, so she was getting there. And then, as you can see, there's a huge drop-off immediately. So, not very far from just hitting zeros. And then for the people who do have hero merit, so Azura, for example, I don't even have this Azura anymore. So when Rival Domains first came out, and because me, I basically never look at the notifications, or I don't even watch the Faye live event, was it Faye channel? I don't even watch those. So I don't ever know what these new modes are when they come out, and me being me, I'm not the biggest fan of reading through the little dialogue boxes trying to understand how things work. So when Rival Domains first came out, and I saw I had to throw down a whole bunch of units, I kind of just started slapping random people who were in my barracks at the time on there just to fill it up and see how it worked out. And that was before, for whatever reason, I realized I could use friend units. Yeah, I think it was like a whole month before I realized I could do that. But yeah, I don't even have this Azura anymore, and she just stayed on there for the longest time. And I remember I actually had a few of her, and I think she was merged to +2. But there was another video recently where I was having to clear out my barracks because I was running out of space for Tikis, that I actually went through and I farted off like half my barracks, or not half. I think it might. I can't remember the exact number. It was close, or it was a decent amount, and basically all of them were 5 stars. And I have a video of that up, and she was one of them. So if we go back and we look at the barracks and scroll down past where the Tikis stop at, you will see that I don't have the Azura anymore. And it's just an example, like a lot of those people are people I just kind of kept on there and just never actually used, and so they gained hero merit from when I was doing Rival Domains, because I used to actually do it a lot, and I just never took them off. And then there are a few units here that are also allowed in the barracks that will be exceptions. So Marth, I like Marth, so I keep Marth. Eliwood, I like Eliwood, so I keep Eliwood. Marth is my second favorite Fire Emblem character, and Eliwood's my third favorite. And then I have other characters in here to represent the friends I've made while playing Fire Emblem Heroes. So Naui is for my friend Torch. Let's see now. I actually have a friend who really likes corn, and so I kept the corns. But if you remember when I was talking about with Solitary Tiki, these are 16 of the original 17 corns, who I got back to back in terms of gaining 5 stars. And then Eldegard is to represent Postmodern Serial, who is another good friend of mine. And then there's just a few units who I liked and wanted to keep. So Bowie, for example, I always liked Bowie, so I wanted to keep Bowie. But yeah, that is basically my Tiki Barracks video. 135 star Tikis, something I'm extremely proud of. Whose Naui is this? And speaking of Torch, here's Torch's Naui. Congratulations on the +10, Torch. So, anyhow, thank you for everyone who watched all the way up to this point. I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate those who've been watching me since the beginning and seeing my journey all the way up to where I am now in Fire Emblem Heroes. It has truly meant a lot to me, and I hope you guys have a good day.